Hey guys, Mike here. So today's cult classic review is 1979's The Wanderers, starring Ken Weil as Richie. So The Wanderers follows an Italian gang of teenagers in the Bronx in New York City in 1963. Tensions rise at their school as they prepare to fight another gang from their school. They each agree on the rule, no weapons, may the best man win. And so we have The Wanderers. So guys, this is another movie in the series. Before watching and reviewing it today, I had not seen it before, nor had I ever really heard of this one. Though upon first glance, this looks very similar to another movie that came out the same year and a couple of months apart, The Warriors. So going into this one, I was a bit worried that this was just going to be exactly the same as The Warriors. But what did I think of The Wanderers? Well, I'd say pretty much the only similarity that The Wanderers shares with The Warriors is that this is a gang-centric story. Though I'd say the main difference between The Warriors and The Wanderers is the fact that The Warriors is a lot more of a straightforward story, whereas The Wanderers has a lot more nuance and is a bit more about each individual relationships that they have with each other. I'll probably be talking about more similarities that these two share with each other, but for now, let's move on. Now, most of the characters aren't probably the best people. They're not exactly really nice, and they kind of stab each other in the back on more than one occasion. They're rude, they're disobedient, and they just pretty much think they can get away with whatever they want. I would say that these are quite likeable characters, and at times they can be quite relatable as well. When they're not screwing each other over or joining other gangs, these guys have a great relationship together. Another thing I would say that sets the Wanderers apart from the Warriors is that it's not all about the gang rivalries. Though it is still the main focus of the story and the main driving force, it isn't what they talk about all the time. For the most part, they just want to hang out, go out, have fun together. But still at the same time, the Wanderers remind you that they are all in different gangs for each different reasons. Though I'd say the scene where this actual confrontation starts was actually quite funny. Because in the classroom, pretty much all the Italian kids sit on one side and all black kids sit on the other side. They're constantly arguing and threatening violence to one another. So the teacher has the bright idea for each of them to come up with each racial slur about one another, and he would write it on the board. So each of the kid rattles off one racial slur after another, and I was just thinking, geez, this teacher needs to get to his point immediately before things really kick off. It was pretty obvious that the teacher was telling them that they're all equal and that they should all be friends, but he really failed to get to that point quick enough, because the confrontation ensues, where the two gangs arrange a big fight together. And this is where I thought the climax would lead us to. One big, massive fight between the Italian kids and the black kids. But I really love the direction that the Wanderers took. Instead of settling their differences with violence, they instead are forced to decide their differences with a game of American football. Because the grown-ups hear about their little fight, and they think, maybe we can make some money off this. So the Italian grown-ups and the black grown-ups decide that they're going to make their kids play a game of football instead and make some money off it. While it's not the most morally righteous thing to make money off people's hatred, it was definitely a better idea than them just basically kicking their heads in. And as tension started to build when they're playing the game together, I knew exactly how it was going to go. Because throughout the movie, different gangs end up coming in contact with a gang from another part of town. And then this other gang, which is more violent than even their gangs, decide to come to the game and start trouble. So then all the different gangs from the school decide to band together to fight off these invaders. And it's pretty much that story of coming together and realising that you have a lot more in common than you think. The thing they have in common is that they don't like people that aren't from their part of town. Which is a good message, I guess? Yeah, it's still equally messed up when you start to think about it. But still, it was another good moment from the film. And as well, I really liked the music from The Wanderers. I couldn't really name many of these artists, but still, I really liked the soundtrack from this. It was just pretty much one classic hit after another, and they really helped to set the playful tone that most of the movie tries to set. Because even though for the most part it is about gang violence, there are scenes where they're just going out having fun. And these songs really do set that tone. So guys, would I consider The Wanderers a personal cult classic, and would I recommend that you guys should see it? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, The Wanderers and The Warriors do share quite a lot of similarities, but at the end of the day, I would say that they are very different films. Because at its heart, The Warriors is about getting from point A to B, and The Wanderers tends to be a bit more about their relationships with one another. And if I had to decide out of the two of them which one I preferred, I would say that I think I preferred The Warriors a little bit more than The Wanderers. Don't get me wrong, The Wanderers is still a really good film, but I think The Warriors just had a little bit more going for it, I think. I would still say that The Wanderers is one of my more preferred films in this cult classic series, but if I was comparing it to The Warriors, I wouldn't put it as a personal cult classic. But as for recommending you guys to see it, if you haven't already seen The Wanderers, I would still say go and watch it. Because even though it has dark overtones, this is still a good, fun watch. And if you want to give it a chance, I think that you'll enjoy this one. Okay guys, that's my cult classic review of The Wanderers. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Whatever you think, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!